Am I on?
Yeah.
Hi, I am the host of Familiar, a tarot study group, and I like to refer to myself quite often as Babushka because I can't figure out any of this technology. So thank you for sticking with us through the slight technical difficulties as I figured out how to share this. Facebook is so complicated. And I'm just I'm gonna share it on my page too, and then I'm going to attempt to enlighten the kids about a little bit of the old tarot mysticism.
Cool, we got our munchies going. And, oh, sorry for let's see if I can do this properly. Oh, it looks like there's a moon on my High Priestess, but...
There usually is. Alright, so, I think the technology is...
Yeah, I think you shared something.
Yeah, something's happening somewhere in internet land.
There we go.
So
there's my High Priestess. This is my Two of Pentacles. This is my Two of Chalices. My Two of Athames or Swords. And my Two of Wands. So Sonia has been working on these little outlines here, and she has agreed to share in our group what we're doing over the course, because we're doing this once a month. And yeah, we are going to be posting it in our group, and I don't know what else to say.
I'll probably be posting it on my page as well. And I guess I may as well start at the beginning for the people at home and for Eric as well. Basically, I started reading tarot when I was 9 years old. My sister gave me my first deck, and if you're in the tarot study group online, you can look up the Tarot of Witches. Not the Witches Tarot, but the Tarot of Witches. And it's probably one of the hardest decks. Like, there was no symbology on it. So I basically I read through the book and nothing connected, ever. I continued to try and find decks that connected. Nothing really happened until I met a friend of mine who shall remain nameless just because of, personal issues. But she finally, this was 6 months ago, she brought in my mind and made me realize that I could give myself permission to buy my own deck of cards. And since then I realized that I've become determined to learn the meanings of each card and all the different ways that they connect, so that, on my harder decks of cards, I can just take a shuffle and actually give a pretty decent reading without needing the book. So all of this research here I'm just putting together basically for me, and I just wanted to talk about it with other people. And I didn't know where to find them, so until Gabrielle came along, and then broadcast. So the first handout that we will be posting up on the group is the Tarot Elements, and that is a brief introduction to all four elements, how they relate to tarot, and what they symbolize. I'm not going to head into it too deeply today because it was covered last week. And if there were any questions, we could start a discussion down below, or Gabrielle can read out some comments and fun stuff. I think that's how Facebook works live.
Yep.
So we've got the elements of fire, air, water, and earth, which represent the spiritual, intellectual, the emotional, and the physical on this plane of existence. And so if you keep that that in mind, and you know, you can check out all of the keywords and the brief rundown of all of them. If you keep this in mind, you can apply this with the numbers of each card, and you'll know what, you know if you're looking at a wand, then you know it broadly represents the fire element, which is spirituality, and then you can break it down further by the number. The first number in the major arcana is the Fool, which isn't a number. And the Fool is a cool card because it's before the beginning of all things. It's the cipher. And so it's the enigma of tarot and numerology. And it's the moment before conception. It's a pretty interesting card. Most decks, if you look at the Fool, it's a young person starting off on a journey. And it usually represents, you know, like eagerness. You know, if you're moving out of your parents' house, you're eager to get out there. You're carrying like a bag of stuff with you. You're like, yeah, man, I'm going to get out into the world. But you're not necessarily aware of the crappiness of what could be waiting for you. And you don't have the knowledge and age experience to avoid pitfalls. And sometimes the only thing you can do to learn is to experience and to fail, and sometimes that sucks.
Sounds to me like teen years.
Exactly. But, I mean, there's also the excitement of getting out there. A lot of the times the Fool card will have a little dog nipping at its owner's heels, and the Fool about to, you know, walk off a cliff, but his head is pulled high, like he's not really looking at it. So the Fool is often a reminder to kind of, there's usefulness in enthusiasm, but sometimes we need to watch for naivete when we're thinking of starting out on a journey. Then the Ones, so that's the Aces and the Magician. The Magician is the very first step of manifestation. You could look at it as conception. It is when sperm meets ova before anything actually happens. It is the spark of creativity. Often when you look at and most of the depictions that I'm going to be describing are the Rider-Waite deck. So most of the time when you look at the Rider-Waite Fool, you'll see, oh man, and you know what? I'm like, I don't have my cards in any type of order to show anybody, and this is a video.
I have my cards down here.
Can I borrow a Fool? Eric, do you want to take the phone with you?
Yeah,
Yeah, he doesn't
do that.
He doesn't say anything.
Focus here too.
Oh, just hold it and aim
Yeah,
at her.
Yeah, aim at me.
Don't feel like you have to talk to the camera. Talk to us.
Yeah,
too.
yeah. I'm trying. Well, I think. Oh, here we go. I found a Fool.
Oh, okay.
And he's super cute. So I'm going to use my Patch Tarot deck, which I just got. And I think the creator's name is Jordan something Eastern European dude. I'm just going to butcher his name if I say it. So it's Through Spirit Science, which is a really cute video series that's been going on for a couple of years now that tries to break down the science behind esoteric knowledge, which is kind of interesting because you have ideas like the holographic universe and life as a simulation and what that could mean in a broader sense, and what does numerology and sacred geometry have to do with life, and how does that apply, and why would the ancient Greeks have cared? And Spirit Science brings it together.
You can hand me your deck, I'll get some of the other cards ready for you.
Cool. So, yeah. Yay, friends! Thank you, Joseph. This is Joseph. He does VR, and he's pretty rad. So if you look, here's Patch the Fool. It looks like he's entering an ocean. So he's about to experience a thing. He's got the little dog trying to warn him, like, hey, bud, like, watch the hell out. And Patch is just so happy. He's found a butterfly friend. He's got his backpack to go. Just hopefully he's not too overburdened when the wave hits the shore. And then we got the Magician. And most decks, when you see the Magician card, it will have all 4 of the elements on it. Because the Magician is the powerful sorcerer that, to quote Eden Grey, which was my first tarot book, takes power from above and wields it into manifestation. So this card is like the spark of life happening on this plane of existence. It's also the mastery of the 4 elements, so that you can manifest in this world, this plane. See, what else do I have on my cheat sheet?
Weren't you also talking about the Fool and the Magician as kind of like
Binary?
the binary code? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So they often complement and they help each other. So zero is it's like an enigma. It's nothing, but yet it's still something. It is nothingness, but within nothingness, it holds all possibility. And then 1 is the manifestation of some form of that possibility. And if you only have a 1, do you have, how can you really tell if you don't know what 0 is? Also, 0's like the chameleon, the gateway to infinity and immortality. It can fine-tune and enhance the value of all the other numbers. If you add a 0 at the end of a number and you lift it to a higher octave, suddenly 0 becomes completeness instead of nothingness. And then the Magician takes the pure potential of the number 0 and runs with it. So, I've known a bunch of people in my life that they got these awesome ideas, right? Like, they, oh man, I'm gonna make a calendar, and on the calendar, I'm gonna make all these dates, significant dates in science history is gonna be on the calendar, and then I'm gonna get pictures of all my scientician friends, and it's gonna be great, and yeah, and oh, I'm booked on Thursday with my scienticians. We've got this awesome calendar, and cool. But are you really gonna do it? Are you gonna get a bunch of digital photos of your friends and let them rot on your hard drive? Are you ever going to get to the research part of the hard work of what you really need to be doing? The information, the guts, the hard work of your idea? Or are you just going to talk? So, the Fool is the idea. And the big idea, oh yeah man, I'm going to rule the world, I'm going to start this business, and I'm going to sell I'm going to sell these tarot bags, man, they're going to be dope. And just in case you need to know, these are Korean money bags. They're usually pretty cheap, but they fit the tarot card. So nice. And thank you, Jillian, in Korea, for telling me that. Gentilly Jilly, the Oprah of tarot, for giving me this idea. So you could have all the potential in the world and all the ideas in the world. You can be enthusiastic of the end product, but unless you're willing to work at it and work for it and wield the 4 elements, you're not going to get anywhere. So these 2 cards kind of complement each other that way, in that the spark of an idea and the enthusiasm and getting out there is part of it, but then once you take that first step, the Magician is your first step. And
Oh, Christy says, would the Fool also be like procrastination?
I think you can, I think the Magician, the fear of the Magician might cause you to procrastinate. I don't think I would read the Fool as the Magician card, or as a procrastination card, perhaps, if he was reversed. Because the Fool is more the enthusiastic, I'm going to get out there and I'm going to do a thing.
I'm going to do all of the things.
I'm going to do all the things.
But
and then,
yeah, it's the potential of the idea.
Yeah, it's more the potential than the actual step.
It sounds to me like the Fool and the Magician are almost like the backbone of understanding quantum physics, because in the world of quantum physics, I don't know, I was, what is it, the movie, there's a documentary, it's called What the Bleep Do We Know Down the Rabbit Hole, and they were using basketball as an example. And there's a kid playing basketball, and when the girl looks away, the basketball is everywhere. That's pure potential. When you are not looking at the basketball can be anywhere on that court, or on, I don't know, in China, for all you know.
And it probably is everywhere.
But when you turn around and you look at it and you see the molecules, now the molecules are there. So it's like there's the nothing but everything, and then there's now the nothing / everything is now a something. You're now seeing it for what it is.
Yeah. And I mean, does the basketball even exist if you're not
Exactly.
looking at it? It exists, it doesn't exist, it exists everywhere. It's everything, it's nothing. It is the cipher, it is the mystery, it is the unknowable, it's the unknown, it's the unseen, it's the unspoken. It's the Zen. But then as soon as you take that first step out the door, if you notice, the Fool hasn't taken the first step yet. He's just about to put his foot down. He has not taken that step.
You want to see the science one? It's actually really entertaining too.
The science.
He's taking a step. It's called the student, the Fool. He's taking
That
a
is
step
so
off the edge of his
cute.
books. Wearing he's got his like lab coat.
Lab coat,
Yeah.
he's ready to go.
He's ready to go.
He's so buried in his book.
And he's so buried in his book, he's failing to notice that he's about to fall
Christy
down,
says,
go boom.
I think I have the fear of the Magician, as you mentioned, because I get the ideas, but then I don't follow through most of the time. That is so me and all my books.
Awesome.
No Fool.
And you know, like that, your scientific Fool can be as book smart and as educated as, you know, the greatest scientician who ever lived, but until he takes that first step,
Yep.
all that education amounts to not much of anything. And I mean, it's just, I think these are just the two first steps of manifestation, right? Of life, of creation. And the major arcana can be looked at as, you know, creation, and the arc of, you know, the Fool's journey, right? It's somewhere between the Fool and the Magician, somewhere between the great idea and the follow through. There's just that first step of the Magician. So, you know, ain't nothing to it but to do it, my girl. You can do it. It's just break it down into small steps, whatever it is that you want to do in life. Just take that first baby step. And a lot of the times people get overwhelmed. Mm-hmm. You know, big ideas take big amounts of work. And if you don't break it down into the small, tiny little steps and the tiny little pieces, it gets overwhelming and then you do nothing. So take one little baby step. And it could be as simple as, you know, writing the first word of the first sentence of the first paragraph of your first novel. Just ain't nothing to it but to do it. Or getting out to the library and, you know, checking out that book and making notes on it, you know. Just ain't nothing to it but to do it. So those are the first two cards. So there's all the potential of the entire universe, and then the first thing that actually happens in the world. And then the aces all of the aces are related to the magician because they are all the first steps as well. The first spark of, something happening on the physical plane, the first step of a spiritual journey, the first step of love, or the first step of, what's the other one?
Whatever.
Which one are you missing?
Thought. I think
Thought,
that was the swords.
Thought is like an idea, like,
Where did I go? Okay. So, so 1 is the beginning of the cycle, and it takes a special place among the whole numbers 1 to 9. Ooh. And with the handout that we're going to be uploading, and Babushka will get to it as soon as everybody's tired of the popcorn and me running my mouth off. If you break down the four aces as in the 4 elements, they get much easier to comprehend and remember. If the cups represent love and emotion, and the ace represents the start, the beginning, the first step, the first manifestation, then you look at the Ace of Cups, and no matter what's on the cup, or no matter what's on the card, you know the elemental astrology is emotion, and you know that the aces are the beginning, the spark, the start of something brand new, the start of a new cycle even, because in numerology 1 to 10 is a cycle. And, once you reach 9, you've reached as full as it's going to get, and then 10 is just a 1 popped on. You're just in another octave, so it's just another level of 1. So that's all the aces. So Pentacles being Earth, the 1 is the start of something material. Could be like the start of like a business plan, the start of I don't know, man. Maybe you're journeying.
The signs card is the start of a planet.
Ooh, cool.
Like,
do you want to show that?
Yeah, it's like matter is like loosely congealed and is slowly falling together.
So cool.
Dude, that is so wild.
That is literally like a meteor hitting another planet. Oh my
it's
god,
the beginning.
that is
It's
so
like this is
cool.
how planets form, right?
I love it.
Yeah, and I mean that's really interesting because that could be also like the it could also be pictured as like a I think they call them quasars or something, when like you've got the spinning disk of the universe, and then just like it's mainly gases and some dust and crap, but then all of a sudden it starts gathering, and then there's gravity, and then it all starts pulling in together, and then like next thing you know, you've got a glob of planet.
Hand me the
Whatever you like, dude.
just I wanted to put my
Teabag.
There we go.
She's teabagging me. Are we allowed to say that on the internet?
Yes, we are.
Hell yeah, we are.
In all honesty, if you guys can't handle our dirty humor, you shouldn't be here. I'm not gonna lie.
Well, technically they're not here.
Exactly.
But you should be. Just saying. FOMO.
Shall I store this on the Stark Industries central database?
Inappropriate, Jarvis. Inappropriate.
What just happened?
I've turned my phone into Jarvis. It just means I have a notification.
Oh, I see.
Jarvis likes to talk to me. He also likes to DJ my phone when I'm like listening to music. That will happen every once in a while, like at the perfect moment in a song. It kind of like dropping a beat almost, and I'm like, wow, Jarvis, you're awesome. And no one's around to hear it, too.
That would drive me bananas. I'm such a music nerd. Cool, so basically, apparently that was a review, because that was everything we covered last time. And this time, we've got the twos, and the twos, oh god, I love this deck of cards. It's like cotton candy, man. Like, I didn't
You're slowly turning... Where did you buy it?
Online at spiritsciencecentral.com.
Okay, so are
I
they...
don't think they're available in stores.
So it's probably
direct from the dude.
an independent deck.
Yes, it's very independent.
So it was this deck before it became mainstream, because this is now mainstream.
Yeah,
I'm talking about the Wild Unknown tarot.
And
so
I think that's really interesting because I'm only just recently getting into tarot groups online, and man, I couldn't believe how much everybody loves the Wild Unknown, and I get that it's an absolutely gorgeous deck of cards, but for me, it's just I am way too much of a noob.
I think when it comes to the Wild Unknown, there's two types of people that are attracted to it. If you want simplicity in the deck, like even the pip cards are just very simple. There's the Three of Wands is a symbol of 3 wands. That's it. Mm-hmm. And that goes back to the old school French or Italian Tarot.
And Marseille, right? The Marseille deck.
Yeah, the Marseille deck, yeah. So
hard.
like if you want to bring it down to its core simplistic nature and you don't want busy things going on and confusing your eyes and all that stuff, but if you want, like, you were looking at my Tarot of the She, you saw how colorful and busy. When I first saw the Tarot of the She, the first thing that came out of my mouth was, thank you. The first thing that came out of my mouth was, this looks like the artist, Emily Carding. Shout out to you if you ever see this video, because I love you. You're amazing. She's talked to me on Facebook a number of times. Like, it blows my mind.
Right?
I feel like I'm fangirling when I talk to people like this. So the Tarot of the She,
totally geeked out when I talked to Jordan. I was like, I can't even believe
it.
this.
Very busy. Like, let's see if I can find. There we go. Like things like this.
So rich.
There's so much color. Now the style is not what I'm talking about. It's more the color and the vibrancy. The first thing I thought of was, oh my God, Vincent van Gogh. She's a big fan of Vincent van Gogh. Mm-hmm. You know, like the colors are there, and this is actually based off of the Thoth system, whereas the transparent tarot is based off of the Rider-Waite. It's more simple. The transparent tarot is more simple than the Wild Unknown. Like, the Fool is literally a butterfly and a rose. That's it.
I would be so lost. And I know the first couple minor arcana pretty well, because every time I decide I'm going to learn the cards, I get to about, like, the Emperor.
Did you?
Because I can't even remember what number 4 is. I think 4 is the Chariot, right?
No, Chariot is 7. 4 is the Emperor, yeah.
And then so what's 5?
5 is the Hierophant.
Yeah, so I get to about the Hierophant, which is probably my least favorite card in the whole deck. Because
it's usually depicted by a pope, and nobody that's actually pagan looking at a tarot deck wants to see a giant pope in their face, and that's why I like things like the Green Witch Tarot, which is like an old sage man, which is really cool.
But even still,
while we're talking,
I want to find out what he is in the science deck too. It's number 5, major arcana.
Number 5.
Let me
but
see if I can find it.
But even still, like in which tarot was it? It was the Santa Muerte deck, which I happen to love. The Santa Muerte deck, the Hierophant is this really, like, dope looking. He's this dope looking dude using a Ouija board and stuff, and he looks really sick.
Yeah, High Priestess.
But I think a lot of it is what the Hierophant actually represents to me, which is like the outward forms of religion and like the cops, the institutions, like. Do this, do that, don't do this, don't do that, follow the rules, and I have no time for that bullshit. I do what I want.
One of the things I realized from the last time we were talking, you mentioned, and it's kind of the opposite of what you said now.
The professor.
the transparent deck.
Yeah, it's all about learning and
It's all
teaching.
about authority, yeah.
Yeah.
How the transparent deck is more simplified in some ways,
Yeah.
but yet the integrations, because it's transparent and how the cards interact.
See, and the
Can
beauty
be
of
so much more
this when I was
complex.
talking with Emily Carding is she tells me, oh, by the way, now that you have all 3 decks, because I have the transparent oracle as well, she's like, you can put the transparent tarot on top of the tarot of the she, because they're literally transparent.
Yeah.
So you can do a 3-card reading with 9 cards.
Huh.
It is fucking mind blowing.
That's sick.
Yeah.
Because it's like you might think you might get lost, darling. I swear to God. It's like, okay, so for instance, like we'll use the High Priestess. The High Priestess is depicted as a crescent moon with the book. In the normal Rider-Waite,
It's the Torah, I think.
The Torah, yeah. So there's a book on the bottom.
Did you see the professor?
Yeah.
He's so cool.
But then you put, for instance, I'm going to use the example of the Devil card. So the Devil card in the Transparent Tarot is depicted as a circle with 5 chains, like 2 here, and 1 at the bottom. So you put that on top, and now the moon is right inside of the circle. And I'm like, oh my God, this is amazing.
Mind equals
Right?
blown.
And
Mind
you
equals
could
blown.
do that on top of the sun, on top of the moon, on top of the Ace of Pentacles, and they all fit inside of that
That's
perfect
sick.
circle perfectly. It's so brilliant.
Can we just look at the professor card, Eric?
Yeah, you want me to
And
look it up?
yeah, I wanted to talk about something just really quick, and mainly for the people at home. One thing that I really like about this card is that the professor is quite obviously an African American or African Canadian, and this is something that means a lot to me in my decks. Is that a lot of these tarot decks that I see look very white. And, a lot of fairy, conceptuality is white people. A lot of vampire conceptuality is usually white people. People don't usually think of Blade. So when I chose my tarot decks, and when I look at tarot decks, I tend to look at them in the eye of, I try to bring intersectionality to it. Like, okay, is there a black professor? Is there a black scientist happening? What are the nationalities? And that's one.
Really cool.
I never noticed. But
Yeah.
you guys.
Now that you said that, I've started looking, like one of the Oracle decks by Lucy Cavendish that I got, one card. See if I can find it.
So Christy Lee McKenzie says, I have the Greenwich Tarot and I love the Rider-Waite deck. Has been a bit difficult for me. I'm not sure why. Oh, she loves it because Rider-Waite. Sorry,
Okay,
obviously I can't read so well.
I am Callie.
Ooh,
Yeah.
Callie.
There you go. See, and if you look at this is not only the number 13, but I think that this is the depiction of the death card.
Oh, she is beautiful. And it's
find-
an integration of a different culture's symbology, but like used properly. And that's one thing that bothers me about the Tarot
Hold on.
Illuminati. Beautiful. And that's one thing that bothers
the first
me.
thing I thought of when I saw she would have been the first. I was like, oh my God, Sonia! This is the first thing that happened.
Sweet. And because I had mentioned last group that the one thing that bothered me about the deck that my sister got me, like the one that kind of I tried to use to bring me back to tarot, was that, they were like, oh yeah, we're one of the first multicultural decks. Oh yeah, Santa
Right?
Muerte, and it's like very properly, the symbolism is very properly used. But if you look at the Tarot Illuminati, they confuse
I love
Chinese.
Christine's hair. No, these are the wings right here, but her hair, like it bleeds between, and you don't know where her hair ends and the wings begin. Which I
So,
thought was, really cool.
So Christy Lee McKenzie says that she loves both decks, but the Rider-Waite, she has trouble with it, and she's using the Greenwich a lot. And I think, whatever connects with you. Like Rider-Waite, I've always found is ugly, man.
You know what? Use your Rider-Waite deck for learning purposes. And what I would do is I would put your cards side by side, like your aces of your Rider-Waite next to your aces of your Greenwich Tarot, and go, what are the similarities? What are the differences?
Yeah.
And when, like, it's not a matter, tarot is not a matter of book learning. This is not a book learning thing. It's a learning for yourself kind of thing. So when you see, like, the ace of, from the Rider-Waite of, say, the Pentacles versus the Ace of Pentacles in the Greenwich Tarot, you put them side by side and you're like, okay, so this is, the Rider-Waite is I guess, the more mainstream, modernized OG, if you will. Like,
Yeah, it's kind of the granddaddy.
There's more OGs than Rider-Waite, but, like, if you want to talk about, like, the original tarot deck.
They consolidated the symbolism of all the other ones.
The difference between the two of them, Christy, that you might be having a problem with is the Rider-Waite is more biblical, whereas the Greenwich is more pagan.
Okay, says Christy.
Yeah. So if you put the two of them side by side, what I would do is I would start journaling. Journaling with both of your decks, and start with, instead of doing one card at a time, do 5 like we're doing.
Yeah.
Start with your ones. Ignore the Fool for now. Start with your ones one day, and you journal on 5 different pages, and maybe do like a side by side. This is the Rider-Waite. This is the Greenwich. And what do I see? What are the differences or the similarities or whatever? However you want to do it. And then the next day, or maybe like a week or something, do the 2s and the 3s and so on and so forth. Because if you do it like once a week and you do 5 cards at a time, that's like 10 weeks, and you got like, what, 50 cards down already? Bam, right there. You know, so that I think is kind of, I think that's where people are, like, falling short. They're like, I don't know how to learn all these cards because there's 78 of them. Don't think of it as 78 individual cards.
Yeah.
Just like, here's something. We are over 7 billion people saying, I am only one person. I can't make a change. That's bullshit. Right?
It's the first step.
It's
taking the first step.
Exactly.
And breaking it down into, like, something that's not so overwhelming. 78 is overwhelming. The Patch Tarot has 82. That's overwhelming. But if you look at it as a certain amount of sets, so you've got like 10 sets of, like 4 cards, then you got some people, then you're good. 10 sets of 4 cards with, like, or 10 sets of, 4 cards, one of each element, and then some people. You got to get to know the people, then you're done. And hopefully we can keep this group going until we get all that done. But it's just basically breaking it down into bite-sized pieces, because I think the first couple of times I tried to learn, it was like one at a time. I didn't even realize the correlation between all the 1s, all the 2s, all the 3s, and that stuff.
I think that's where, like, a lot of people are, like, struggling, especially, like, and please comment if you're watching this, like, replay or whatever, where a lot of people are having issues, which is why a lot of people from this particular group were doing the tarot class with the Sisters Enchanted, because what we ended up doing is, the first week alone, the first day we did the Fool's Journey, we did literally 21 cards, or 22 cards
That's a lot.
in one day. And she was just like, you'll see in my tarot journey, this is what I did in one day. And I got it done in one day.
That's awesome.
It's just like, the Fool, blind, God, my mouth can't wrap around this word, naivety. There we go. Innocence.
Naivete.
Naivety. Yeah, there we go. Leap without looking. the magician, reality, material world, manifestation, skill. And then we're going on to the high priestess, spirituality, intuition, potential. You know? Whereas the pentacles, the ace of pentacles, I said, when the universe hands you what you want, because I kind of created like a paragraph with what's going on with the pentacles, and then I ended up doing something different with the rest of them. But it's basically like the universe is going, here you go, on a silver platter. Are you going to take it? Are you? No? Okay. The Ace of Wands, a spark or new idea, finding your passion, inspiration. The Ace of Swords, mental clarity, power, breakthroughs, new ideas, triumph. And the Ace of Cups, intuitive, overflowing emotions, new love, compassion. That's pretty simple. So what did you think when you were looking through the Tarot of the She? Like,
very beautiful designs.
This is very, very busy. If you want to look at a lot of stuff, this is the deck for you. If you don't, this is not the deck for you. Yeah, absolutely.
I think in some ways, it does give a little guidance or hints with the words down at the bottom.
Yeah.
However, it also has the potential to kind of focus you in one specific area with that.
Yeah.
Whereas
what I like with busy cards is that when you're doing a reading, the same card that you pull for, quadrant A, when you're looking at that card, you're not going to, like, this one little thing, or the moon will pop out when you talk about the moon, because that particular thing pops out at you to do with that particular current question. Whereas if you were to pull that same card, whatever that is, something else will pop out.
Absolutely.
And that's why, in that sense, I like the busy cards. But like I said, I mean, when it comes to tarot and even oracle, not every deck is everyone's cup of tea. You have to realize that. If it's not for you, that is okay. Right? It's insane! Oh, wait, I just saw the two cards. There was the High Priestess. Yeah. So I wanted to show you guys the High Priestess. This is the very first card that Emily Carding ever drew. She drew this all herself. These are her drawings. She also wrote the book herself. So we're talking about the High Priestess. This is the High Priestess in this deck.
Ah, she's pretty.
So, I find it very interesting how she depicts the she characters as almost, I want to say, alien in nature. Like the almond eyes, huge almond eyes. They have very distinctive, this is very difficult because Dancer, this is cups. This is the 10 of cups. And it makes sense because there's a rainbow, right? But Dancer 10, I always get confused between Dancer and Dreamer. I don't know why. Dreamer obviously is the mind. That makes sense. But I was like, oh, dreams actually are also associated with water. So that's why I get confused.
Cool. So I'm just here we go. So I'm trying to get the closest thing I have for the standard Rider-Waite depiction of the High Priestess.
I'm a dum-dum. I thought I brought it with me, but I didn't.
No, that's okay. That's okay. I've got the Illuminati tarot, which I like it. It's cool. It's influenced by Rider-Waite, which is the standard, right? That's the granddaddy, 1913, something like that. The Order of the Golden Dawn put that together, and they basically compiled all the different disparate symbolisms of all the different decks that were out there and kind of threw it into one. And they did the research, and they tried to make it based on the standards. So, alright, so this is our High Priestess, and for this particular deck of cards, the Tarot Illuminati, I'm using it because it's got a lot more of the Rider-Waite symbolism that can tell you what she's about, more than my patch tarot. Which, I mean, it's a girl, she looks like she's taking wisdom from above, she looks spiritual, everything's coming from inside, which is really cool, but there's a lot more symbology on the Tarot Illuminati one. She is she's standing in the gates of the Temple of Solomon, and we know that because she's standing between the two pillars of Boaz and Jachin.
I'm never gonna remember that. How you remember that? I will never know.
I remember how she remembers that, but I don't think she
Joaquin Phoenix! I don't know how I remember Boaz, but that's how I remember Jachin, because I thought it was Joaquin, but it's actually Jachin. I'm probably saying it wrong. So if you look at this image of the High Priestess, she's in the doorway of the temple of the wisdom of the Solomon's temple. She's not guarding it. She's a greeter. She's kind of like your Walmart greeter standing at the door of the Temple of Knowledge.
Shall I store this on the Stark Industries central database?
Jarvis. Oh my god.
Your Jarvis interrupted my speech.
This is what he does. He's an asshole.
He is. So she's not guarding the temple. She's not keeping people out. She's waiting for people like you and me and Joseph and Gabrielle and Eric. She's waiting for us to come to her, and she's pretty bored because a lot of people don't come to her these days. So when she sees us walk up to the temple and we're like, yo, this is the temple, right? She's like, oh my god, thank god you're here. Dude, read this shit. I'm so happy to see you. And if you look at this particular image, what stood out to me and I think is really interesting is that she's holding the scrolls of knowledge. But she's not holding them facing her. She already knows this stuff. She's holding it so that you can read it. She's handing it to you, giving you that knowledge. And when it comes to the High Priestess, she is your wisdom that you already have inside. And a lot of the tarot decks will use the High Priestess as their patron card because tarot is already a part of you. It has every archetype of every dream you've ever dreamed, every experience you've ever had in life. It is the wisdom of the magician, and the High Priestess is giving it to you. She is the number 2, and 2s generally have to do with balance. The pillars are black and white. It's the balance of the positive, the negative, the 0, the 1, the duality of life. She represents, and in a way, with the 2s, I'm going to use my cheat sheet for a second. The 2s in numerology, 2s represent a lot of what the High Priestess represents, which is sensitivity, tactfulness, diplomacy, cooperativeness, caring, nurturing. She's receptive. Typically, historically binary genders, she would represent the feminine. But I mean, I don't know if we should, in these days and times, throw the gender binary out the window, but for the purposes of tarot, we'll call feminine the receptive, the passive, the mysterious. It's 2s are peacemakers, patient, sensual, intuitive, musical. It's reciprocity, a tie. The High Priestess is duality and secrets. It's the hidden. It's that feminist, the female power that's usually hidden. She's not going to come and kill you. Women don't kill you with a gun. They poison you in your sleep. She's that type. She's mysterious. She's not going to be overt. It's the covert. It's the hidden. She's represented by the moon. She's also, man, is she spunky. She's independent. She's like You know what I mean? Like, she's like, man, I don't need nobody. And a lot of the times she's seen this bullshit of the world, and she's wiser than that. Like, she's seen the hidden realms, and you can't really fool her. You look like I'm giving you a headache.
No. I'm trying really hard to remember the name of the movie, and it's something that, like, no, because I'm making a correlation. There's a character, I'm like, she is the fucking High Priestess. Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Okay. Help me out here, someone. I'm having a brain fart right now. Okay?
Help her out, guys. Help her out.
Okay. It's a Marvel movie that just happened with Mr. Sherlock.
Oh, Mr. Sherlock.
It's not called Mr. Sherlock.
It's not Jessica Jones, is it?
Doctor Strange. Okay. So the girl in Doctor Strange. Tell me that's not the High Priestess. It doesn't matter her name.
No, she is.
And it doesn't matter her gender binary either.
But like,
because she's supposed to be not.
He came to her for the information, and she said, "I'm here to teach you, but I'm gonna smack you upside the head, throw you on the top of a on the mountain."
Sometimes she does.
And that's exactly what she is. I'm like, oh my god. Okay, I have an idea.
What the fuck was the actress's name though?
Oh.
She's really good.
Her last name starts with a T.
It's Kate Blanchett.
No, I get her confused.
No, it is. It's her.
Really?
No, it's not Kate Blanchett.
Yeah, it is.
No. I'm talking about the girl with the short blonde hair. Well, in the movie, she's bald.
Yes.
Yeah, that's Kate Blanchett.
That's not Kate Blanchett.
Christy says she needs to watch this movie.
It's really good.
Doctor Strange, I believe, is on Netflix, or at least Canada Netflix. So it should
This
be
is
on.
her. She's right here. It says Kate Blanchett.
No.
Yeah, girl. Yeah. You don't know.
Kate Blanchett is from Underworld
And Thor.
and Thor. No.
No, not Underworld. No, that's the next.
No, sorry, no, I'm getting
you're
completely, no. Okay, so, okay.
IMDb.
I always get these two
We need her
women.
character name though, right? With the
I always get the, well, we don't need it, but like, I always get
We
these
need
two, we always get these two,
As a character
actors mixed up. Her and the girl that was in the Star Wars film, because they both have short blonde hair.
I get her
One was in
confused.
Game of Thrones.
I get her confused. You know who I get her confused?
And it's just because they have short blonde hair. It has nothing to
Oh,
do
it
with...
is. You're totally right. Tilda Swinton.
Thank you.
The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. I get the two of them mixed up all the time.
Yes.
Okay, what's her character name though? The Ancient One. And in the movie, she was supposed to not have a gender binary. And
I like that they kind of like made her a little bit more gender fluid. Like with the baldness and stuff.
And what's interesting, what I was doing when I was researching just to throw the cheat sheet together today, what I thought was really interesting is that, and I hadn't even thought about it, but when the High Priestess comes up in your card reading, it's not always a great thing because life will kick the living shit out of you in order to get you to examine what is really deep down inside of you and hidden. Mm-hmm. And sometimes, like, Saturn return will do that. Saturn return will kick the living snot out of you so that you examine yourself deep down and you change what really needs to change in your life because you've been ignoring it.
That kind of makes sense with the Green Witch too. She's making a giant potion in her cauldron, and she's like doing a lot of self-work. You know, like she's going deep within, and she's like, I need to change something in my life.
Yeah, and
am I going to hope and pray and ask something else to help change me and not do jack shit about it?
Well, that's
or
what
am I going to do something about it myself.
Exactly.
And put that intention there, because that's what spells are. It's using incense and candles and all these different tools. Well, you don't need the tools, but it's using these tools to help focus
your intention,
right? Of what you want to do and change within yourself.
And that's totally right.
Yeah.
And I think that, as well as what you pointed out about, it's not going to a priest, it's going inside yourself, and that to me represents the difference between the Hierophant and the High Priestess. And to me, they're almost like complete opposites.
This just made me think of the new like daily pull of pulling like.
Shall I store this on the Stark Industries central database?
Thank you, Jarvis. Yes, please. Whatever.
Jarvis is stealing tarot information.
Downloading all this tarot information. But yeah, like pulling a. I would love to do this. I want to start pulling a card and give a little explanation and see if people can come up with names of characters in a movie or a TV show that they think represent that particular tarot card. Mm-hmm. I think that would be freaking amazing.
I think that would be fun.
And
it's a really fun meditation that really, like, if you're looking to really learn the cards the way this nerd over here is, then whatever tricks you can use to remember the symbology, then go ahead and use them, man. Go ahead and use them.
Yeah, I know that there was a couple of people that would associate different tarot cards with different actors or people that they know or something like that.
Just make a celebrity tarot.
Yeah.
I wouldn't buy it.
Somebody has to have done it already. I'm gonna look it up.
I'm a hater. I wouldn't buy
I'm
it.
sure it exists.
It's got to exist. How could it not exist? Any idea you have, somebody already did it and made porn of it. Like,
Yep.
What else we got? So that's pretty much.
It's a puppy.
We have a familiar.
There's a puppy.
We have a familiar. Don't feed him.
Yeah, the motivation of letting him in was that he doesn't need any food.
yeah.
Oh, hi, baby. You're so cute.
Yeah, he's pretty fluffy.
Is he like the mascot here?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Hi, honey
He's
bunny.
actually the president of the organization.
Hi.
Oh, yeah, that's right. my mild note challenge that one slightly.
Christy, you won't be disappointed watching Doctor Strange. I don't know why I was having a senior moment trying to remember Doctor Strange.
Dude,
I'm
are
like,
you kidding? Tilda
I
Swinton
swear
and
I watched this movie like at least 3 times. Like, how do I not remember the name of this? It's so ridiculous, but
No, it's all good. You know why? Because, I mean,
so much information. I can
it's-
only
yeah,
have
it's-
so much in my
you
database.
had to clear your cache. Man. It's not information you were using on a
Love
daily
it.
basis. So, cool. So, moving right along. Oh my god.
I'm sorry, I'll get him out of here.
No, he's so cute. Hi.
So somebody made it, but
He's
they
been
made a
slimmed
really
down
crappy version of it.
Oh, boo, Ernst.
Ooh, yeah.
Celebrity Goddess Tarot deck.
Yeah, it's
Boo.
terrible.
Oh, people are commenting on your stream.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
There's only like one person, but hey, whatever. Like, there's replays and stuff like that.
Oh, pretty cool.
Gabrielle is big time.
Oh my god, here you go. I have the list though. Are you ready for this?
No.
The Fool, Britney Spears.
Sweet Jesus.
The Magician, Yoko
That kind of
Ono.
makes me giggle. I'm not gonna lie.
High
No,
Priestess.
someone doesn't know anything about tarot. Shut it.
Already broke because
I told you it was terrible. It's gonna get much
She's a
worse.
fool, but she's not the fool.
No, you
she's
know
not
what?
potential incarnate.
Okay, if we're gonna talk about this, we're gonna talk about this.
Oh my god. Death, Miley Cyrus.
Oh my sweet Jesus, no! Okay, well, transformation. She kind of went from cute little girl to
But not
That sounds like
transportation
it
in a
was-
good way.
no.
Oh, sorry, that sounds like someone who put that together hates women and doesn't really understand the entertainment business.
Oh yeah.
Because Britney Spears, to be honest,
No, I got another one for you. It's even worse. Are you ready for this?
No, if you went through what Britney Spears went through, you would fucking shave your head and bash your boyfriend's car in too.
Yeah, it's
you
true.
would go crazy. It killed the entertainment industry.
Killed her.
Killed fucking Amy Winehouse too. You know what I'm saying?
Number
Like,
of
these are
people.
not- I don't think these are situations you can even laugh at, man.
What were you gonna say?
And that's just me being passionate and nerdy. What is it? I'm gonna break your computer.
The Lovers.
It's the worst.
Miss Kardashian, Kanye, and Northwest. I'm done. I'm so done. Although the High Priestess being RuPaul, I actually enjoy that.
Okay, yeah.
They got one.
Courtney Love is not the Empress.
No, you know what? I think
Beyonce's the Emperor. The Hierophant is Madonna. What does Madonna have to teach us?
This sounds like it was made by someone who hates women. I'm really sorry, but it really does.
The whole thing is mess.
Oh, Jesus.
It's insanity, and it sounds like they don't know tarot. And that.
Yeah.
Can we just shut
No,
that
no.
goddamn thing off? Because I got.
I can tell just by the pictures how bad it was.
I
Like,
love you all, but I've only got 15 minutes, so let's wrap this motherfucker up.
anyway, somebody should make a better celebrity tarot deck.
Oh, jeez.
I think it's on you.
Or no, it's definitely not me.
Well, I mean, you know, that's a great idea for the fool. Who's going to take the magician first step? Okay, cool. So we've got some twos here, and generally the twos represent sensitivity, tactfulness, diplomacy, cooperativeness, caring, nurturing, receptiveness, the feminine aspect, caring for others. Peacemakers, kind of being the fulcrum in between the two extremes. Like, honestly, I didn't even take a lot of time to read through this, but the number of the God Son in the Holy Trinity, I don't even know what that means, and maybe I will refine that. Love, because it represents the two souls as a pair in harmony. Reciprocity, and I think with the Two of Swords, a lot of the times, when I think about the twos, the Two of Swords and I think the Two of Pentacles are really what stick out. Because the Two of Swords is kind of checking out of a situation. Because you're not getting anywhere. Mm-hmm. Stalemate, it's a balance.
Yeah, I have
You want to see the science card? It's really
stalemate.
good for this, actually.
Indecision, blind choices, opposing views.
What's
the science card is a picture of a tree with apples on a weight, and it's basically action and reaction, right? In physics.
Yeah.
Oh my God, it's Newton's law.
It's
That's
Newton's law.
amazing.
And as you say, it's about balance, right? For every action, there's an equal and
Equal and
opposite
opposite.
action.
Yeah.
Like,
And so,
And
a lot of the times, I think of the Swords one, which is kind of checking out of the situation because you're just you're not getting anywhere. You're fed up with it, and you're like fuck it, I'm checking out. But then you've got the Two of Pentacles or Discs, and obviously this card is heavily influenced by Thoth.
Thoth.
Everybody pronounces it.
Yeah.
And this is more like being in the middle of a lot of things going on, but balancing it fairly well, like juggling or something. It's harmony in the midst of chaos, but you're handling it well. You're not checking out. You're like, yeah, man, I got this.
The Two of Pentacles is there's always a pair card to the to each major arcana, and the Two of Pentacles I see is close to the Justice card.
I definitely haven't got that far.
Well, think about it.
Of my study.
Think about it. Justice is actually connected to Libra, which is the balancing scales. Balancing things in your life, and that's what I literally have written down. Like the BS in your life, trying to balance it out, whether you are balanced or you need balance. That's Justice. That's like, the double-edged sword. I know it's Swords and Pentacles, but I think the Two of Pentacles is very much
the science card is
relatable.
like that too. Matter and antimatter.
There you go.
God,
Yeah, that is so cool. Yeah, I really like that.
I was so happy when you said you had a science tarot because it's so you
It's
and
perfectly me.
yeah, and I really appreciate, as opposed to the celebrity doo-doo tarot, that whoever made the science tarot really knew their tarot.
They knew their shit.
Christy
cold.
said
She's
that.
saying-
Christy said that deck sounds crazy. I'm assuming it was in with the celebrity tarot deck. Oh my god.
Honest to God, I think the person I don't
I don't
I
even.
don't think they knew
Oh
what they were
jeez,
doing.
we won't even go there. But that was a funny little comment.
And good for you. That does sound crazy, as in like
So
not
got the
based in any
wands
reality.
and the
Those
cups
signs.
next, right?
Somebody should do
So,
a
yeah.
good job of it instead of a shit job.
So I think, I think from what I remember, and I may be completely off base, and that's why this is a group. So please correct me. The first few cards in the wands represents the journey, like.
She likes your science deck.
Oh yeah,
How could you not?
it's clearly obvious.
So the first few cards in the wands represents like a journey, like going off to discover new lands. And so far as I remember, with the Two of Wands, it's like being balanced and feeling at peace, but surveying your territory almost, like getting ready to set out somewhere and go on a journey.
Wands, I have decisions, planning, journey, discovery. Yeah.
Yeah, and in the Rider Waite, I remember it's two wands almost like pillars, and the guy holding the globe and looking out at sea, and I think there are boats in the distance. So I tend to think of at least the first couple wands as the story arc. So you're kind of you're feeling at peace, you're at balance, and you're ready to kind of journey out and strike out on your own. And the Two of Cups is that balance in love, the pairing of love, and like the and it's the two in the Rider Waite. It's the couple with the cups and then an angel above them. So I think that's the harmony of the two emotionally, but also at a balance, but not the stalemate that's in the swords, but like a peaceful, harmonious balance that like the
I have partnership, yin yang, attraction, union, harmony, balance, and soulmates.
Yeah.
Now here's the funny thing. Sarah posted a tarot pull of the day, or somebody I think it was Sarah. I could be wrong. Posted the Lovers and the Two of Cups, I believe, side by side, and was like, what does this mean to you? And everyone's like, marriage and this and that. And I'm like, dude, business, like going into business. I decided to like shake things up, right?
Into it and shake it up, yeah.
Because if somebody is coming to you with a business question, like, I have this opportunity where I can partner up with someone. Should I do this? Should I not, or whatever? And you pull the Lovers and the Two of Cups, or no, I think it was like the Lovers and the Three of Cups, or something like that. And all you're getting is like marriage and celebration. That's not. Yes, that's what it is, but in the context of, I have this.
Marrying of ideas, even.
It's not even that. It's like when you go into business with someone, the saying is getting into bed with them.
Yeah.
So it's like there's a marriage going on with the businesses. Maybe like two businesses are becoming one, and you're gonna celebrate. You're gonna go off and celebrate and actually drink, or there's gonna be like big celebration because you're going to have like a pop-up store, or like random things like that. So
yeah, it's the partnership of it.
When you're reading these cards, it's not just the two of cups or the two of chalices or whatever the heck you want to call them, whatever's in your deck, doesn't just mean marriage or you will meet your one or whatever. You literally have to apply it to the question that's being asked.
Yeah.
And you have to go, okay, how does this make sense to said question?
Because marriage isn't always necessarily like...
So if
you're
somebody,
married to your job. Like it just like when it comes to marriage, there are different interpretations of that word. And this is the dumbest, if I may, the dumbest interpretation of the word marrying. Forgive me, but in the restaurant business, if you have 2 half-full ketchups,
you married them.
you marry the ketchups.
Wow.
Yeah.
And they're not in a legally binding contract of any sort.
But they're partying in the same jar.
They're partying in the same
Yeah.
jar. And even if if you're having a business contract, you're partying in the same jar.
The science card is alliance.
Oh,
And it-
dope!
and
Another great word
Yeah.
for it.
And it actually shows lichen, which is an alliance between a fungus and a bacteria.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry, but
This is so amazing.
can I just say on the internet and for everybody at home and everybody here, I love how we're nerding the fuck out. I want you to come to the next one because I love how Eric here. Give me this. I'll talk, but I want to show you Eric, everyone. I love how you you're open to these crazy woo-woo ideas that we're having here in this, space that's generally very, very hard science, and you're bringing it together with your science deck, and these ideas of lichen marrying an algae with a bacteria, these are just amazing concepts that help to reinforce all of the ideas and all the archetypes that we're learning, because that's what this group is about. Yeah, that's what this group is about, and I think you being here and you bringing this deck of cards has really brought something to this group that I was really looking for.
Yay.
And as has Gabrielle and her incredible knowledge. And, I'm happy to see Zach even sitting in for a moment. And Joseph, thank you so much for following along with us. And
The newness and unknown.
right? And
That's what I bring.
and you know what, though? I really do appreciate it because you're the purest form of learning that we're having right now. And if tomorrow you think about some of these concepts and you think about tarot and you think about, oh, shoot, that card, then that is this group accomplishing what it was I set it out for it to do. So unfortunately at that, I'm going to wrap up the live stream, if I may. I think this is a great place to end it. And I got to run. I gotta go actually do some charity work because I had a really rough day, and sometimes, putting your own damn self aside and doing something for other people without needing anything from it is the best thing you can do to get over the haters and the assholes and the doo-doo jerks that are out there in life. So with that, my name is Sonia. Thank you so much for tuning in. Kaylee?
Christy Lee.
Christy Lee, thank you so much for tuning in at home, and everybody else that's tuning in late. Thank you for joining us. Let's start a discussion. And the group meets every Wednesday of the full moon or of the new moon, because we're starting new things, right? We're gaining new knowledge. So it's every Wednesday of the new moon here at Hack Lab in downtown Toronto, and we'd love to see you come out. Just, buzz Unit 6. I'll give you a map. I will, get Zach to stand outside waving for you.
If anybody that is watching the replay and is living in Toronto wants to come physically, just message me either privately or post a message here in our little group here. I would love, if you're watching the replay and you want to add a comment or a question,
please do.
Please. Either Sonia or myself will answer.
I'd love to hear
and
from
it's
you guys.
it's not just a question and answer. Please.
Tell us what you're thinking.
Yeah, absolutely. What do you think? What do you think about the
What do you
twos?
think about lichen? Can I see the card?
Yeah.
What do you think about lichen? Oops. What do you think about lichen? Let us know, because we're lichen All right, because this is a discussion.
On that
Nobody-
terrible, horrible pun.
Oh, Christy, thank you so much. She says this is a great live video.
Well, thank you so much. And like, really, like, I'm very selfish with this. I
If
wanna
people
discuss
are-
with you guys so we all learn. 'Cause,
Absolutely.
you know,
If people are
nobody is an
still
expert.
into this, I would love to keep doing this as a live event. I think that this would be
Absolutely.
a pun of the
And
day.
don't worry, at the end we'll give you a certification so you can say you've got a certificate in tarot. This is a certification course.
We can totally whip one of those up on the laser cutter.
Yeah, those are like.
Wooden plaques
I
and everything.
love how they
We'll give
do
you
that.
a
You get a
plaque.
certification of. I'm like, come on.
Just-
You certify yourself. Let's
so
let's
this is-
face
this is
it.
my
That's a
answer.
load of shit.
Cool. So bye everyone. Thank you for tuning in. At the time or late or whenever, I'm gonna start a group so that we can post these and post the information, the charts, Google Docs or whatever, so we can all be a part of the conversation. So thank you so much. See you next time for Familiar.
Say bye.
Bye.
Say bye.
Goodbye. I thought I found my
Bye.